You tend to you tend to jump a little bit when things go bump in the night around my neighborhood.
Because I think you're like the Mr. Weathersby in this situation. You're the guy behind Green Eyes. You're trying to.
That might be true. Welcome into the Roundtable. We're going to play our game that we tried last week. We're going to try it again here. Mr. Vincent, Mr. Wasson joining me here.
All right.
Basically, we have 5 topics, and they have to agree. I'm going to ask them a question. You have to agree with it, and then the other person has to disagree with the proposition that I'll be giving out. We've got 5 topics. Here they are in random order. And Mr. Wasson, due to the fact that I believe you slightly won last week's...
cheated. You meant
cheating. Yeah, okay.
That's code for cheated.
We'll let you pick first. By the way, we have off camera Mr. Zach Strickland is our judge, so we'll have his recap at the end. So go ahead.
I won via hanging chads.
Where are you going?
Speaking of stuff, let's go with these boots were made for walking.
All right. ATA CEO Chris Spear touted the victories of winning the court case against a trucking-only toll road in Rhode Island, as well as the passage of an infrastructure bill, noting he will also fight an excise tax next year. Why was it a good idea for the PA to play These Boots Were Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra as he walked off the stage?
Is he a Nancy Sinatra fan? Did he have cowboy? I need to see this.
He's from Wyoming.
Alan Adler. Okay, that's probably it. He probably requested it. Honestly, it feels like somewhat in place for trucking because people would still get the reference and understand it. So, it's a great idea. I mean, I guess that like if they'd accomplished more, they'd play a different song like Danger Zone by Top Gun or the soundtrack or something. So, overall, in my opinion, the Nancy Sinatra choice. Interesting, but it worked, and just like they did that with the folks at the ATA, they did some work as well. So win-win, I guess.
All right,
it's a weird
Mr. Vincent. Why is it a bad idea?
It sounded like he almost agreed that it was a good idea. That's what I got out of that. I'm a Nancy Sinatra fan.
Okay.
I love it. I think I should win this point just because he didn't say Nancy Sinatra. Instead, he said these boots were made for walking. But
I'll concede that.
But a horrible idea. Absolutely a horrible idea. First of all, Rhode Island, I mean, wow, there's a victory. They saved that one truck that drives across there accidentally every other month, $1.50 in tolls. Wow, what a victory. You're walking all over them with those boots there, Spears.
Right.
Plus, he's pushing the bear. He's poking the bear. Hey, we got all these victories. Well, you're not going to get any love from them over the next 2 years. Bad move, man.
All right.
Bad move. Act like you've been there before.
Your turn, Mr. Vincent. What are you going to pick here?
I need to see what you're doing, my friend.
All right. Specifically, of course, OOIDA and one other group talking with the FMCSA about a petition that they put up 2 years ago, and now they're re-requesting it being looked at. Specifically, OOIDA requested that regulations on broker records be amended to require brokers to provide an electronic copy of each transaction record automatically within 48 hours after the contractual service has been compelled. Is this a good idea?
I think it's a great idea because they already have the right to see these, right? It's just that the brokers play games. They say, hey, can I see these? Yeah, we'll print these out and they'll be available between 7 a.m. and 7:05 a.m. on Tuesday, the 24th of November, when that comes around again, is the game that they're playing, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, they should be able to see those, and I think it's a great idea that they do this, and plus it's going to open their eyes to realize that when rates go up, brokers don't make all that great amount of money because the rates have gone up and they're paying the carriers more, right?
Okay.
And when rates go down,
yeah,
they're not making all that great money because the rates are so down and the shippers are pushing it down. The brokers that are giving in these loads are not making the huge amount of money that they think that they are.
All right, Mr. Wasson, why is this a bad idea?
If I'm a broker, I don't want carriers to know how much rip I'm making off these loads. Why should I be able to supply? The whole point of a brokerage is I was good enough or better enough to get the loads from the customer, and you can't. So I'm not going to let you see any of it. You can ask all you want, but you're not getting my line haul, my friend, because that's how I make money, and you don't. This is the state of nature, and unfortunately, I'm higher up on the food chain than you, small carrier, and that is how it will be. Now, if you do decide you want it, I will purposefully wait until the end of the month after this data is no longer accurate, or encourage you to buy FreightWave sonar so you can see how much you may be hosed.
Ooh.
Drop the mic.
Well, don't drop the mic quite yet. You got one more pick to make at least here, sir. Mr. Wasson, 2 are off the board. Which one would you like?
Ooh, turn out the lights. The party's closed.
All
Hey,
right.
kudos to the guys in the back that figured out how to highlight
Yeah,
these things that are already picked.
We've been working hard in the graphics
go.
department. Mexico is ending daylight savings time in that country, which might cause a little bit of confusion, excuse me, when it comes to sending freight across the border. Why is this a good idea to end daylight savings time, especially when the United States is not doing the same thing?
I think it's a great idea for two reasons. One, it's because when the Mexican freight crosses the border, it's often late anyway, so maybe it'll be an hour earlier.
Oh,
And
at least
then
half the year, right? At least half the time will be on time.
The second reason is daylight savings time is in of itself an antiquated concept, and I hate the fact that I have to keep changing my clock. So at least the folks in Mexico realized it. But there will be some confusion, as some of the Mexican carriers will probably say, "What time do I need to be there?
Yeah.
And why is the bridge behind 2 hours or 1 at the border crossing?" So great idea overall. Hopefully the U.S. can decide to adopt it, just because I really hate having to constantly reset all my clocks twice a year.
All right. Mr. Vincent,
I think
what's
it's
the
a
bad
horrible idea. It's going
Okay.
to cause mass confusion. It's going to snarl all of our supply chain and all the movements cross border. I mean, because it's not just one time zone that's impacted here, right? Have you ever tried to schedule a meeting in Phoenix and try and figure out what time it is there, as opposed to here?
Yes, and I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right? You don't know. Like, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I didn't know if they were 3 or 2 hours behind us. I had no clue what they were, right? So, because you don't know, are they on Pacific? Are they not on Pacific? Sometimes they're on Pacific. Sometimes they're not on Pacific, because they're not following the rest of the rules. Horrible idea. It's going to confuse everybody. I mean, we can't even add one-on-one in this industry. How are we going to figure this out?
Excellent. All right, you're up, sir. You got 3 left, I think, to choose from. We got 2 more. See if we
Two
got-
more.
You got 2 to choose from.
We need more. We need money because you like stuff.
All right. So the Air Forward Association, AFA, and the group representing customs brokers released a position paper last week calling for the establishment of a dedicated investment fund for cargo facilities, because air cargo is a critical driver of economic growth. Why is this the right way to preserve and distribute money to airports for improvements, Mr. Vincent?
I think it's a great move, and brings awareness of what needs to happen. We just saw it throughout the last couple years here, when we're trying to move cargo through airports that are not specifically designed for air cargo, right? I mean, it's very inefficient to run these things through belly, like you're watching right here. That is not a freighter. To try and move this cargo through there. We also saw massive delays in places like Chicago, where we actually had those people climbing over fences to try and steal their cargo to get it through there. It's incredibly antiquated and inefficient, and it needs to be improved. Any way we can get monies into these, we need to do this. This is not a situation where you have individual private corporations that can do this. These are airport facilities, right? They're not like private grounds. So yeah, the facilities need to be improved.
Why is this not a good way to put the money towards this particular cause, Mr. Wasson?
I say we shouldn't be bailing out airports for failing to provide infrastructure that they're supposed to be doing. Why do we give you a common carrier status as an airline if you can't figure out how to invest your money correctly? Oh, let's look at this one. Oh, I need air cargo to establish it. Why isn't the private market or private equity deciding to do this anyway? With ESG initiatives, I don't want a bunch of carbon polluting airplanes clogging up my skies, causing more problems to my NIMBY neighborhoods. Heck no. We need fewer airports and possibly utilize things such as barges or sails.
There's
so
no
that way I
water
can
in the Mississippi, my friend.
That's someone else's.
Oh, okay.
He might mention,
You're right. That is
he might mention
not part of the
He might
question.
mention blimps if that.
Blimps.
If we drove less cars, the Mississippi River would be flowing.
Last one. Coming up here, which one we got left? The last one, Mr. Wasson, you're first. Packer is recalling 70,000 trucks because the digital dash might freeze. Tell me why it's a good idea to use 100% digital dashes when virtually every computer I've ever used has frozen at some point.
I think it's a great idea because it's way too much work to install manual dashes. Do you think that your average driver now raised on a diet of TikTok understands what a moving needle is? He has to have lights. Look at it. It's red. Pull back up the graphics. It's red and it tells me if a car is close. For your average person, I think this is wonderful because from a user experience design, they should have probably done an upgrade. They should have paid the extra money for the software package, and then it wouldn't have broken. So yeah, I think it's a great idea just because, digital dashes, it could also show me other things. Why would I need to have old school dials? That's so 1980s.
All right, let's go over here. Why is it?
It's a horrible idea, and Thomas, you just made my argument for me. It's causing people the younger generations to be lazy, and the new drivers to be lazy. They can't even figure out how to not hit somebody that's in front of them. It's baloney, and the technology is terrible. We need to go back to dials and levers and gears. It's the only way to make things work consistently. Everybody knows that, hey, technology is great, when it works, which is almost never. Have you ever tried to put a USB cord into your computer? This is the right. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is right. I mean, it's ridiculous. No, take out the digital dash.
So I was going to say, Mr. Wasson has jumped ship, and Mr. Strickland has jumped back in with our verdict for today's roundtable. What do you got, sir?
Yeah, Vincent won today. I think he had a little bit easier job of it, honestly, though, with the way that they lined up.
Yeah,
I did. They lined up perfectly for me. It couldn't have been better, really.
Yeah, so I don't want to discount Wasson's efforts here, but yeah, Vincent definitely won today.
Yeah, it was a luck. I agree. It was a luck of the draw.
Excellent. Well, we were there tied 1-1 then, although that's still up for debate. We'll take a short break. We'll come back after this.